Okay, this is the cameraman, and we are on location again here in Altoona, and we are at the Catholic Cathedral on 13th Avenue and 13th Street. And we have a special guest who is standing on the corner, and we're going to introduce you to her. Well, she's going to introduce herself to you. So what is your name?
Rosalind.
Rosalind. And can you give us a little idea of what you're doing out here?
I'm advocating for the victims of child sex abuse in the church. What I want to do is get a retroactive window for them to bring their cases of abuse to the courts. For years, the statute of limitations expired because they were moving these priests from parish to parish, and innocent children were getting harmed again because they didn't know that these new priests were predators. But the bishops knew, and they just kept moving these priests around. So I want a retroactive window. What was suggested in the 2016 grand jury report for Altoona Johnstown Diocese, as well as a follow-up one that Pennsylvania did as a state, and I believe it was 2019. And I'm out here next month. I'm here on the first of every month because that was when that grand jury report was released in 2016, March 1st. I'm here on the first of every month so that I can advocate for these victims to get this retroactive window. Next month it'll be 8 years. 8 years that this has been going on, that they say, oh, we have these bills and we're going to get them passed, and these survivors are finally going to get their justice. And their hopes get so high some days, and then it just gets shut down because either the bill doesn't get out of the committee to go to the whole House or whatever for a vote, or it never even, if it goes to the vote, they don't make the vote, or they don't do the vote. So it's very discouraging, the politics of it all. And then, of course, in 2020, when the question was forgot to be put on the ballot about would the Pennsylvania state residents support a retroactive window for victims? Because what happens when these bishops and the insurance companies advocate to hide these victims or these predators? Every other predator that's out there, as far as like in schools or in sports, it's all hidden. They stay hidden as a benefit because the church fights it all the time. And the insurance companies, just because they don't want to pay the premium, the payouts for the cases that are brought. So it's a really ugly problem.
So are you working for anyone, or are you just doing this on your own?
I'm retired. I do it
on
my own.
Why? Okay, can I ask why are you always in front of this cathedral?
No, initially I protested. I didn't want to be in front of a church. I protested out in front of the Altoona Johnstown headquarters building on Logan Boulevard there. But they eventually said they had to move it, and they tore it down. So now it's no longer there. It's beside where Garvey Manor Nursing Home is. But they took down that building. So when they moved it, they moved the diocese office over to Broad Avenue, which is like sort of rather secluded. So I refused to be on a location where nobody could see this. So I thought, well, I'll just go where the bishop lives, and I'll go to the cathedral. So I've been out here ever since they closed the diocese building on Logan Boulevard.
Okay, so do you have any issues with anyone in the cathedral?
No, not particularly.
No?
No, I don't. I know Father Carson. I see him. He's a very nice man, and he's very cordial, and and I know that there are good innocent priests out there, but there are so many that the church continues to hide, and it maddens me.
Okay, so we have a reader. His name is Guido. He's asking, are you getting anywhere with the protesting?
I get a lot of people that come by. All I get, what I get is people that come by and say, thank you for being here. Thank you for doing this. Appreciate it. And no, I mean, I'm not getting any change in the legislature. I mean, there's no, that moves along at a snail pace.
Good.
But I want to stay, I'm not going to hide this away like other abuse cases where people just, out of sight, out of mind. It's not going to be out of sight. until they pass this retro, until probably the day I die, or I'm just saying what can't be out here. I'll be here protesting this until we get that window.
Do you have anyone in a higher authority that is trying to help you with your cause?
No, not particularly. No. I mean, other than the legislators and whatever that are still advocating for this, and the people, and the child defense group, but no, not no. I used to do that very actively, and I had to cut that back because it was too frustrating to me. So when it gets to be a little closer to where there might be a vote or something, I'll go up. But I've stayed away.
Somebody just yelled at you to get a job.
I know. Yeah. Yeah. Oh no.
I guess they do want it hidden, don't they?
Oh no, there are some of the Catholics come out of here after their new 9 or 12 o'clock mass, or.
Have you been yelled at or ridiculed?
Oh yeah.
For this? Have you been yelled at by anyone coming out of this church behind us?
Oh, absolutely.
So they harass you when they're coming out of this church right behind us?
Well, when they're driving by or something, they'll say, something really, When I first moved out here to the church, some guy practically ran me over with his pickup truck, and then he tried to grab my sign.
One would say if they got nothing to hide, why would they harass you?
Well, people say, well, it's not all of them, and I'm not saying that. I'm saying, I just want a window of justice for these victims, and I told them I'll go away. You talk to the bishop, and that's what was recommended in that grand jury report. They recommended that the church agree to a window, a retroactive window for victims to get justice. And they've never. Philadelphia has had multiple ones. Every time the Attorney General's office always recommends the retroactive window, and they never agree to it. So they are the biggest fighters on getting a retroactive window for any victim of child abuse in this state.
So do you do this? Now, what do you do any other day other than on the first of the month?
What anybody does is retires. I'm always on something.
So so you come out once a month and do this?
I wanted to commit to something that I could do. And I thought one day a month. And I did have a lovely young lady stop, probably in the past year, to say, if you ever can't make it a day, she said, you call me and I'll be there for you and I'll hold that sign. Very nice, and I appreciate that. But, I invite anybody that wants to be here. So
we have a comment by someone that says, no, it's not all of them, but the good ones are not reporting the bad ones.
Exactly. That's their code of silence. They won't say anything. So that's the collusion. If you stay silent and you just keep covering it up, they're part of it. I'm sorry. So I feel bad, but if you're going to be there and you're going to be silent about it, and it persists, that these poor innocent kids are getting victimized. For the rest of their lives, they're going to carry this with them.
You know of anyone that has complained about the church behind us of being a victim or know of a victim?
Well, it was in that report. I don't remember them all, but I will say, people say to me, well, oh no, that was like 30 or 40 years ago. Well, I went to a SNAP meeting after this, and I heard he wasn't young, he's probably our age, describe pretty much exactly what the floor plan of that rectory was when he was in there every day. It was so sickening. They don't forget that. They know those things that only somebody that was in that building would know, that it's stamped in their memory. They know. And you're not going to shake that out of them. That information is there. So it makes me angry when people say, oh, they don't remember them. No, it's there. You give them the opportunity to put that evidence out there, and you'll know. Nobody else would know that if they weren't there. So that's what matters to me.
Okay, so do you have anything else to tell our readers? We got 32,000 followers. There's a lot of people commenting, praising you, thanking you for what you're doing.
Well, and honestly, I get that when people come by and they thank me so much for being here, because...
We got one person that said Liberty Tax will pay you to hold a sign for them.
No, thank you.
No?
No, this is my cause.
This is a cause, not a job.
This is my, well, it's, you know what I mean. But that's cute. But you know what I say? If anybody, I always invite people to join me. It's not like but I know it's a hard thing for people to do, to stand out here, with a sign or whatever, and to say anything against the church. But they can come out for 5 minutes. I'm here on the first, unless there's some catastrophic event, and I'm usually here by 11. Today, the first time I think ever, I delayed it because I took my neighbor to a doctor's appointment and I didn't get here till noon. So otherwise, I'm here.
Has any other media outlet stopped to talk to you and interview you?
Well, initially, like I was interviewed by the Mirror a few times, and THA. I was on a panel discussion with Channel 6, like that year after.
So they're giving you some. Have they given you any coverage lately?
No, not lately.
Not lately.
But I don't think I'm the most eloquent speaker, Randy. Maybe they gave up.
Well, we didn't.
You gave me more time. I try and get it out, and then I mumble my words, or I don't get the thought out right. But I appreciate people being patient with me because there's a lot to say about it, and
it's a heavy topic, that's for sure.
It is a heavy topic, but they say if Sound of Freedom, when you see about these kids being abused, it's such a real story, and it is a real lifelong pain for them, and so many of them commit suicide. It's so sad. They end up committing suicide because they can't stand the torture of it anymore, and being so close to maybe getting that window passed at times, and then getting it yanked away from them. It is heartbreaking. I've been there a couple of times, and it's just, you go home and you're so deflated, and I know it's hard on, some of those legislators, but I just don't understand why it takes them. It takes so long to get something so important passed, and when Jim Gregory wants to complain about the Secretary of State that year not getting that question on the ballot, I think he should have checked to see if that question was on the ballot. Why didn't he know? Why didn't he check and say, is that question not going to be on the ballot? So I don't think it was just her fault, something else happened.
Okay, have you ever heard of Central Pennsylvania Pred Hunters?
What is it,
Central Pennsylvania Pred Hunters. No. They are saying, keep up the good fight, your voice will be heard. They hunt child predators.
Awesome.
And they're on Facebook, and they're a part of our team here on the Bedford County and Blair County Free Press.
Awesome.
So we thank you for talking to us, and we'll give you our number when we go off the air. And if you ever, if you got any updates for us, feel free to contact us. Okay?
I will. Thank you very much.
All right. So this is a cameraman on location in downtown Altoona at the Catholic Cathedral.